All right, today we are diving headfirst into the very exclusive, very fascinating world of luxury watches. We're going to explore the incredible craftsmanship, the deep, deep history, and just the sheer prestige that can make a tiny machine on your wrist worth millions of dollars. I mean, it's a perfectly logical question, right? Your phone tells the time, my phone tells the time. So what is it that turns a watch into an asset that could be worth more than a mansion? That's the big question we're digging into. So to really get to the bottom of that, we first have to ask, what does luxury even mean in the world of watches? Because, it's a whole lot more than just telling you it's time for lunch. It really comes down to these four things. First, you've got the handcrafted artistry. We're talking about painstaking work, not some assembly line. Then there's the history, brands with centuries of stories behind them. Third is innovation, these amazing mind-bending features that watchmakers call complications. And finally, let's be honest, it's about being an unmistakable symbol of status. So let's start at the very, very top. I'm talking about the brands that are literally fit for kings and queens. These are the old guard, the absolute titans of traditional, high-end watchmaking. So here we have two of the heaviest hitters in the game, Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet. Yeah, they were both founded way back in the 1800s, but they each have their own very unique claim to fame. Patek is all about that royal lineage and insanely complex engineering, while Audemars Piguet basically invented a whole new category of watch that changed everything. Patek Philippe's reputation isn't just clever marketing, it's baked into history. When your customer list includes actual royalty, like Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, you're not just selling a timepiece, you're selling a piece of heritage. That link is what makes the brand the absolute definition of class. And if you need any more proof of their value, just look at this number. $24 million for a single watch. Sold back in 2014, it was a masterpiece with all sorts of complications, including a celestial map of the sky over New York City. I mean, that is just a staggering level of artistry. But then you have Audemars Piguet, which kind of blended that tradition with a bit of rebellion. See, back in 1972, luxury watches were always small and made of gold. But they came out with the Royal Oak, a big, bold, sporty watch made of steel that actually cost more than a gold one. It was a crazy idea. It broke all the rules, and it basically created the luxury sports watch category we know today. Okay, so we're moving from the halls of royalty to the red carpet and the silver screen. Now we're going to look at the brands that became more than just watches. They became global icons, woven into the fabric of pop culture. And when we talk about icons, there are two you just have to mention: Rolex and Omega. Rolex is, without a doubt, the most famous luxury watch brand on the planet, period. Omega, though, built its name through historic achievements. I mean, they were at the Olympics, and they were on the freaking moon. And that's the real magic trick Rolex pulled off. Everybody knows the name, right? It's like Lamborghini. But unlike a lot of brands that get that famous, it has never lost its prestige. It is still the ultimate, instantly recognizable symbol of having made it. And get this, you might think with that kind of global recognition, they're just cranking them out in a factory. Well, get this, Rolex produces over 2,000 watches a day, and every single one is assembled by hand. That's a pretty incredible balance of scale and craftsmanship. So while Rolex is the ultimate status symbol, Omega is the hero's watch. Its modern image is totally tied up with the world's most famous spy. Ever since the movie GoldenEye back in '95, James Bond's watch has been an Omega. It doesn't get much more iconic than that. But hang on, here's a great bit of trivia for you. Omega might be Bond's modern watch, but it wasn't his first. Yep, if you go back and watch the 1965 movie Thunderball, you'll see Sean Connery wearing a Breitling. So another legendary brand actually got to Bond first. And speaking of Breitling, that leads us perfectly into our final category, what we call tool watches. These are the tough, super reliable timepieces that weren't just made for the boardroom. Oh no, they were built for the most extreme places on Earth. In this category, we've got two brands that are all about aviation. First, you have the legendary Breitling, founded way back in 1884, famous for its pilot and dive watches. And then there's the modern challenger, Bremont, a British brand from 2002 that has quickly built this awesome reputation for making incredibly durable watches. A reputation for reliability like this isn't something you can just buy with a marketing campaign. It has to be earned. These brands proved their worth when it mattered most, from being trusted by fighter pilots and astronauts to a time when Breitling's tech literally saved people's lives. I mean, this story is just unbelievable, and it shows you how functional these watches really are. This isn't a movie plot, it actually happened. Two British pilots crashed their helicopter in Antarctica, they trigger the distress signal on their Breitling watch, and that's how rescue teams found them. It's a tool that's literally designed to save your life. And finally, that brings us to Vermont. It's pretty amazing that a brand this young has already earned a spot next to these historical giants. It's worn by adventurers like Bear Grylls, and it just goes to show you that a serious dedication to hardcore engineering can build a world-class reputation in no time at all.
So, we've looked at watches for royalty, for pop culture icons, and for hardcore adventurers. What's the big picture here? What do we take away from all this?
It really comes down to this question: how can a watch be so timeless? And the answer is that these things, they're more than just watches. They're little time capsules of history, they're marvels of engineering, and they're symbols of what we can achieve. And that's what makes them timeless. And that leaves us with one final thought. Are you the classic traditionalist, the Patek, the pop culture icon with a Rolex, or the adventurer with a Breitling? Every one of these brands tells a different story. The only question is, which one is yours?